I'm on. I'm sorry. I'm thinking they're ending early. Good morning. I'm Scott. I'm a little disheveled, and I'm your host for the next couple of minutes. So I thought it was like three of. So, all right, here we go. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. Please silence your phones, your mobile devices, whatever else might be beeping and booping all the way through the service. And we always start our service with an acknowledgement of the land on which we are located. The Eureka Center for Spiritual Living acknowledges that the land on which we gather is the ancestral territory of the Wiyot peoples. This territory extends to the communities through most of Humboldt County, and we honor the Wiyot peoples today. And we have a delight. We're going to start our service this time with a song that we heard last week, which I left last week, really inspired by it. Donna's going to lead us. Yes, Acknowledge of the Land, Song Lead with Love. Okay.
You remember last week we had the call response, and due to a bunch of comments about it, we're doing it for opening song now. Yay. It was very good.
You called that well.
Please stand. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope. You're not alone. Don't give it up. Keep moving on. Yeah, you gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Lift up your eyes. Don't you despair. Look up ahead, the path is there. So you gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. I know you're scared. Baby, I'm scared too, but here I am, right next to you. So you gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other. With love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope. You're not alone. Don't you give up. Keep moving on. So you gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love.
wonderful way to start a service. Okay, speaking of that, let's move forward. I put it in my pocket. That's not going to help. We are going to, we have our welcoming introduction. I'm going to do something a little different, as I'm prone to do on our welcome. We're going to read the top part together as an affirmation. And then, I don't know if you noticed as you came in through the building, we're trying to do more, I hate the word things because it's so generic, but we're trying to do more to bring a peaceful, hopeful feeling, as evidenced by the song. So my wife Drew, with my help and Angelica's help too, in this idea, out in the lobby there's now something called a positivity. Okay, and you might have seen it. It's 6 feet tall, it's on paper. Next to it is a little basket, and in the basket there are lots of Post-its shaped like leaves. There are pens. And what we are asking you to do, and this is a preamble to what I'm going to ask you to do in a second, what we're asking you to do is if you have a positive thought, an expression, a quote, an image, an idea, a belief, anything that you can share with anybody else, anytime, you go out to the positivity, you take a Post-it, you write it on the leaf, and you stick it on the tree. And we are looking forward to seeing this tree bloom with positivity. And the other side of that is sometimes we need that. So if you see one that inspires you, take it. Another one will bloom. And we are looking forward to seeing this entire tree filled with these leaves of positivity. So what I would like you to do this morning is we're going to say our open. Excuse me? I hope so. And it will not be for sale at the plant sale, just so we all know. Okay. So what I would like you to all do is do the opening and then turn to somebody and tell them a positive thing, something that's positive for you. Just, I'm glad you're here, be where your feet are, love leads the way, put one foot in front of the other, whatever comes to mind. And then remember what you told that person, and when the service is over, please go out and write it on a leaf and put it on the positivity tree. And let's see how fast we can fill this. Maybe we'll have to get a bigger tree. So with that in mind, we all say, we are a welcoming community where the vibration of love lifts us, the wisdom of the ages inspires us, and the science of mind teaching empowers us. Find somebody else and tell them something positive. Please. You can get up out of your chairs if you need to. All righty. So let's take a look. Remember what you told the person, or remember what you heard, or both. And at the end of the service, please leave a positive note. So let's take a look at what's coming up this week. And welcome to the Zoomers. Welcome to our visitors and guests. Welcome to people who've been here for a while. As I'm prone to do, on the first of the month, I got 90 seconds of trivia for you. Okay, so thank you for the cheer. Just so you know, I don't need the ticking. March is named after Mars, the Roman god of war. It was originally the first month of the year. In early Rome, the year began with March, marking the return of spring and the start of military campaigns. Always a holiday event. Anyway, it got changed to the third month, as we know, but even today, the name still reflects its martial roots, with marching associated with movement and progress, which we need. 4 events that took place in March. March 15th, BCE, the Ides of March. The assassination of Julius Caesar, partially by his friend Brutus, who feared he was getting a bit too powerful, and I'll just leave that there. March 6th, 1836, was the fall of the Alamo. 13-day siege, and even though they lost, it became a rallying cry for Remember the Alamo, which helped Texas gain its independence. March 10th, 1876, Alexander Graham Bell, who ironically was born March 3rd, made history by speaking the first words over a telephone. Mr. Watson, come here, I want to see you. And just like that, humanity began its journey towards spam calls and group chats that never end. On a more significant note, March 25th, 1965, the Selma to Montgomery March concluded. After 2 earlier attempts were brutally repressed, Martin Luther King Jr. and the thousands of civil rights activists completed their 54-mile march from Selma to Montgomery in support of voting rights for Black America. A couple of famous birthdays. Dr. Seuss is March 2nd, 1904. Albert Einstein, March 14th, 1879. Michelangelo, March 6, 1475. Mr. Rogers, boy do we need his spirit, March 20th, 1928. And Vincent van Gogh, March 30th, 1853. And finally, 5 fun holidays that take place in March. March 3rd, these are real holidays, I researched them. March 3rd, what if cats and dogs had opposable thumbs day? It would give you pause. That would certainly ruin our refrigerator with the dog. Oh, what do we have now? March 9th, a day that might be appropriate, is Panic Day. The one day a year where it's apparently socially acceptable to lose your mind. Feeling overwhelmed, you need to scream into a pillow. March 9th gives you full permission. March 14th, you can guess, a little bit of thought, 314, is Pi Day. It's the ultimate math holiday celebrating the never-ending number pi. It's also an excuse to eat an absurd amount of pie. March 20th is Extraterrestrial Abductions Day. And March 26th, one for the rest of us, is Make Up Your Own Holiday Day. So there you have an overview of March. What? What was that? Oh, we don't do that at the end? We'll do that now? Okay, so if you're a March birthday, that adds to my time. If you have a March birthday, please stand and we can sing happy birthday to you. It's Tiffany! Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tiffany. Happy birthday to you. And part of what we try and do is, as we get the service going, is give you a little bit of fun, some laughter, as opposed to just reading the announcements. And I just want to, Tiffany debuted last week for her first time. I think you did a delightful, wonderful job. So, yeah.
Did you overlook the I? I'm not even Irish, but did you overlook the Irish?
I just found 5.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to note, today is Michelle's birthday.
Today, whose?
Happy birthday, she's on light, so happy birthday, Michelle.
Oh, okay. Michelle, if you're watching, happy birthday. And if you're not, happy birthday anyway. Okay, so moving forward, trying to keep the reins on this. Okay, real.
This week is celebration of women in construction.
That is an event we can build on. I beat you to it. I looked to you. I thought you'd get to it before me. All right. So regarding positivity, I get Angelica's Friday message every Friday. As if you don't, get on the mailing list. And I read Angelica's message every Friday. And she goes through what's going on in the world and always ends with something positive. And I think to herself, God, I wish I could be that positive because I just can't get to that place yet. So if you saw Angelica's message last Friday, she basically said, I just can't do it. I'm paraphrasing, but I think that was the concept. She was just in a place where she can't. Hence, oops, if we could have the slide back up. Leading to this, which our grief group ended on Thursday, which was just a wonderful group. And we've decided to morph it and extend it because the conversations in our grief group were wonderful. They were heartfelt. They were safe. It was a place where you could feel safe, accepted. You could say what you needed to say. Nobody judged, and where a lot of us are going through a lot of fear. So we have extended it and turned it into something called Brave, Vulnerable Conversations. It starts this Thursday. Every Thursday starting at 10, it'll go to about 11, but we're not going to cut people off if there's a discussion. We're inviting you to please show up. There's no registration. There's no real cost. I mean, if you want to donate, that's fine, but that's not even requested. Just come here to be around like-minded people and share how you're feeling and know that you can vent and you can let it out because you feel better when there are other people who are supporting you. So that's every Thursday from 10. It is open to the community. Anybody who just wants to come in and get a dose of support and positivity and be heard is welcome, and I hope you will be welcome too. I hope you will come and be with us. So that's this Thursday and every Thursday at 10. Speaking of more, man, we are so positive, I just can't get over it. We have the men's group, which is every other Saturday. That will be this Saturday. I attended for my first time at the last one and loved it. So if you are a guy, please feel free to show up. It goes from 3 to 5, and you can see it'll be this Saturday in the other room. More positivity. For the love of writing, Lorna, wherever she is, brought back, I saw her in here. There you are, way in the back. Lorna restarted our writing group, and it was about 8 of us this first time. You don't have to be a professional writer. You just have to be somebody who likes words on paper or on computer or on device, and you get a nice prompt, and you share again with like-minded people. That will be Thursday the 21st. Did I get that right? I did. 10 to noon, that's here. Which means we'll have to figure out something about our Brave, Vulnerable Conversations. Okay, Crafternoon, more fun, Friday the 28th from 1 to 4. Come here and create peace doves, something we all need. Something else we all need is plants, and Lori, would you like to come up and give us a brief overview of the plant sale? And while you're at it, she's bringing a martini.
Not much to say, except thanks to everybody who continues to volunteer with everything we're doing. But I just wanted to do a little show and tell. We're not doing vegetables. Nobody wanted to do 6 packs of vegetables, but we've got air plants. And cheers. We just had a wonderful donation. Was it the other day? I'll just say the Friday of succulents from this wonderful human being, and he also donated. Probably going to sell for about $200 worth of bonsai planters. And look at this cute little. And he said, Lori, he has a huge, probably 50 bonsais, and he had to take me on a tour. And I said, what are we going to do with that little teeny thing? And he goes, you could have the world's smallest tree. So I'm going to keep one of these little ones. There was about 3 of them. So just so you know. I know, right? Someone just said, put a redwood in it. So that. Anyway, the plant sale is just, it's fun. We're having a great time. And it's not going to be just plants in like, whatever, 6 packs or whatever. Some of them are really fun and tantalizing. Let's just use, I like that, tantalizing. Thanks.
Last couple of announcements here. SOAR is the CSL kind of conference. I guess that's the best way to describe it. It's in August. The registration is on the slide there. Our little pantry needs to be fed. Please, non-perishable foods, whatever you can donate, bring them, put them in the little pantry or leave them in the collection in the other room, or bring them on Monday and walk in awe. We'll put them in. It is one more way we help support our local community. And now, our month's theme, our new theme for this month is Trusting the Compass Within. And we are going to start that out with the song Be Still, which I believe Donna is leading. After that, the Moment of Peace will be led by Reverend Angelica with Jackson doing the music.
Be still, be still, be still, in quiet and in peace. Please know the joy and wonder of release. In this sacred space, there is no doubt or fear. In this secret place, there is no doubt or fear. Be still and know that faith has made us whole. Renewed are we in spirit and in soul. The light of truth within shines forth that we may see. Perfect peace is ours eternally.
I like our new songs for this month. This is great. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to take our contemplative from this thing called You, which is a book I'm rereading because in May, when Burl and I and Corinne and a couple others get back from vacation, we're going to have a class on it. When I opened this book earlier, I opened it to this. God's world is not a world of illusion, but of realities. Everything that exists is for the purpose of expressing life. You are able to recognize the things around you because they are in the same mind in which you live, the one mind which is everywhere present. This means the presence is in everything. A tree, a rose, everything in nature, your own physical body. Nothing can be excluded from this omnipresence. Take a breath.
I'm here to remind you of your magnificence, to help you awake to all the wonder that you are. I long to show you all the joy you're worthy of. I'm here to
Dr. Holmes writes, "My body is a temple of the living spirit. It is spiritual substance. Every part of my body is in harmony with the living spirit within me. The life of this divine spirit flows through every atom of my being, revitalizing, reinvigorating, and renewing each particle of my physical body. There is a pattern of perfection at the center of my being, which is now operating through every organ, function, action, and reaction. My body is a divine idea, forever renewed by spirit." And I know that as we go through our service today, when we leave here uplifted, inspired, aware that there is so much more happening here than we could possibly ever imagine. And we call it good, we call it God, and so it is.
I long to show you all the joy you're worthy of. I'm here to remind you how much you're truly
Thank you, Jackson. You always pick the best songs. You do such a good job. Definitely. In case you don't know it, I'm Reverend Angelica Jane Taggart, the spiritual leader here at our center. And yeah, I didn't get an acclamation when I walked up here today. I always think that's so interesting. Somebody says my name and everybody claps and it's like, wow. So today we're starting on this new month, and our theme, remember, our year's theme is our spiritual journey. And we've been working on the various aspects of, or two aspects, mapping our way, etc., learning, going back to the basics so that we can have tools to use on this journey. And this month, we're trusting the compass within. So right now, many of us feel like we're walking through a fog. Or I was thinking of something sticky, and the thing that came to me was honey, and I thought, well, you know, honey's good. I mean, honey's been used as a healing agent even throughout the years, but it feels just kind of sticky and icky and fly paper. That's a good one. Tar, that's a good one, yeah. Black and yuck. Gets all over everything. So, I mean, politically, socially, sometimes even personally, we feel this way. And the landscape is shifting. I mean, Mother Earth is shifting. She's responding to what's going on as well. It's like everything is happening in a very strange way, it seems like. It feels really disorienting. And yet, I want to remind us that each one of us has a hidden tool to use, that inner compass. And that inner compass to me is our spiritual wisdom and our faith. So we learn the spiritual wisdom, and we keep learning it as time goes on. We keep learning it with every experience that we have. And the faith is something that we also have to learn. But it's not an intellectual thing. It's an emotional thing. And sometimes that's hard to do. to have faith that this too is good, this too is God, this too is for me, as Emma Curtis Hopkins used to say, the great teacher of teachers. So I was thinking about this inner compass, and I started thinking about the North Star, which has been a navigating device or guide for centuries. It's always present, it's unchanging, and it's reliable. And this is where I want to go with this idea, that this, our own North Star is within us. And it operates the same way when we learn how to trust it. So my whole thing about the North Star when I started to get interested in it was living in Hawaii. When I lived on the big island of Hawaii, I heard stories of the long canoe journeys that were, continually happening, being taken by the Polynesian navigators. And they crossed thousands of miles of ocean without any tools whatsoever, except the North Star. In Hawaiian, the North Star is called Hokupa'a, the fixed star. So again, I'm going to say this star remains steady, a constant point of reference. And what I know is that the voyagers placed their absolute faith in the wisdom of their ancestors and in their own ability to read the signs of the sky and also the sea. I remember talking to somebody who, 40 years ago, actually, a Hawaiian group decided to get together, and anthropologists, and they built the hokulea, which is a long canoe that is built in the way the ancient Hawaiians would have built it. Now, at this time, nobody knew how to do this. None had existed for 600 years. And no one knew how to navigate by the stars, even though there is an observatory on Mauna Kea, on the Big Island where I lived. But the Hawaiians found a man in Micronesia, a wayfinder on a tiny little island, who agreed to teach them not only how to sail using cues from the sky, but cues from nature. By noticing the swells of the ocean and which direction they were going in and how high or low or whatever they were, and by bird species, because that would tell them how close they were to land. And also about the very smallest of details, the feeling of the wind pressing against their bodies. What was so wonderful is that the hokulea gave the native Hawaiian people an identity. It became a symbol of hope for the survivor of their culture. Now they call the hokulea the mothership, because she spawned an entirely new generation. Since that 1976 voyage, 25 more deep-sea voyaging canoes have been berthed across 11 countries. More than 180 crew members have taken a turn aboard the hokulea on its global trips. And more impressive is the number who trained, applied for, but for whom there was no room. 4,000 people. 4,000 people. So the hokulea has traveled thousands of miles to deliver a message, and the message is Malama Honua, which means taking care of island Earth. Malama Honua. So when you look at, when I was looking at, I know that the hokulea has gone to all along the West Coast and various other places, and every time they do it, they don't use any modern navigational guides. They do it the way the ancients would have done it. They're always traveling in uncertain waters. And you know what? When I was thinking about this and about the North Star as our compass or our guide, I realized that we're always navigating uncertain waters as well. politically, socially, spiritually. The world around us is continually changing, continually shifting, and sometimes the path ahead of us seems invisible. I had this thought, while I was reading all about this long canoe, I had this thought of these people being on this boat or ship, whatever they would, a canoe, and being out in the middle of nowhere and not seeing anything anywhere around them that had to do with land, and being able to move into a place of trust. They didn't need to see land to know that they were on their right path. They trusted the unseen. Likewise, we don't need to have all the answers. We want to have all the answers. We want to put things in little boxes in our mind. We want all the facts, etc., and we do not have them, as we've seen in the last month or so. When an earthquake comes, nobody gives us advance notice. When earthquakes in our spiritual being or our emotional being come, we don't get any advance notice. But we have to trust. We only need to trust that divine guidance is leading us. And not only is it leading us, it's leading everyone else, regardless of whether it looks like it or not. Now, that's a really hard thing to handle, because we want it to be our way. We want everything to happen around us the way we think it should happen. You're married? You know this one really well. You have children? You also know it really well. You want things to happen in a certain way. I can imagine that when I was living with the family that adopted me, I was not this sweet little girl that got beaten up all the time. I earned some of that because I decided to do what I was going to do regardless of whether it was the way it was supposed to be done. So even when we can't see the destination, we need to trust in this divine guidance. And one of the other things I realized is that in moving along our spiritual paths, because that's what I believe our life is a spiritual path, we have to acknowledge our emotions. We spend so much time here that we don't necessarily acknowledge what's going on here. So it's normal to feel unsure or even fearful when the path does not look like we think it should look. But one of the things I read in the textbook yesterday was that uncertainty is not an absence of direction. It's an invitation to trust something deeper. Dr. Holmes says, "There is a power within you that is greater than anything you shall ever encounter in the outer world." There is a power within you that is greater than anything you shall ever encounter. That power is our connection to divine wisdom, always present, always guiding us, if we learn how to listen. Learning how to listen is the interesting point, isn't it? Sometimes when I read quotes by Dr. Holmes, I think, I go back into that place where I think, well, God is out there. I forget that God's in here, that God is absolutely everything that there is, or the force, or the one, whatever you want to call it. This divine energy is absolutely everywhere, in here as well as out here. So when we're cultivating this when we're cultivating this reliance on our inner North Star, I have 3 things that we do. One is we spend more time in silence and stillness. Do you know, I thought about how silence is foreign to a lot of us. We get in the car, we turn on the radio. We get home, we turn on the TV or the radio. Or we get on the phone, or we text. Now that's done in silence, but still, it's conversation. Silence, for instance, in meditation, is so precious. It's something that is healing on every level. It's something that I believe we should be doing at least once a day, if not more. Spiritual mind treatment is another way to move back into cultivating our inner North Star and recognizing that it's there. Quiet reflection. That could be called meditation, but isn't necessarily so. But quiet reflection also helps us sharpen our inner guidance. Silence and stillness. My second one is faith and trust, which we've talked about already a little bit. But what I know that faith and trust have to have to really work well for us is releasing doubt. I don't know how many people I've treated for that end up saying, well, I hope this works. Excuse me, sit down again, let's do it again. Or we think we have a condition, an inherited condition. And so treatment doesn't work for that because that's an inherited condition. So there's doubt there. Releasing doubt allows divine wisdom to lead us, to heal us, to motivate us, to encourage us, to inspire us. Releasing doubt is just another way of saying it's done unto you as you believe. Right? What are you really believing in? I had this big, huge wasp nest out under the eaves of my house. And I've been stung by a wasp before, and it was not pretty. It was, I really had a reaction to it. This was when I was a child. So I noticed that to walk out to see my roses, I had to walk by that huge, it became huge, that huge wasp's nest. And these wasps would fly out. I'd see them fly out, and they'd buzz around me, and I'm going, I'm not going to hurt you, honest. But that fear came up because of a past experience that I had had. And I thought to myself at that point that fear is like, it's like a perfume that you want to follow because it smells so good. At least I'm talking about the wasps, right? But for us, fear takes our mind down different paths than we really want them to be. So trusting over and over again. So I never did get stung by any of those wasps, and I didn't hurt them either. Unfortunately, my landlord came over to do something else, and he goes, that's got to go. I said, just leave it. They're not hurting anybody. And he called the pest people, and they came and smoked it, not smoke it, but, you know. Put the smoke up there. All the wasps died and left the nest. I took that nest down, and I was amazed. It was beautiful. It had colored paper in it. I mean, like purples and blues and different colors. And as I was peeling it apart, it was just like, wow, what an incredible thing nature is. What an incredible thing. So my last one, so you have silence and stillness, faith and trust, and my last one is pay attention to the signs. Every single one of us has synchronistic things happen in our lives. Every single one of us gets gut feelings. Every single one of us feels inner nudges. And to me, all three of these things are spirit speaking. When those synchronicities happen, it's like, oh, well, you say something like, I'd like to have blah, 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 and an hour or two later or a day or two later, somebody says, hey, you know, I got this and I don't want it. And it's just what you wanted, right? That's a synchronicity. That's spirit going, oh, okay, you want that? Here. Those gut feelings, I mean, all of us have had those gut feelings where we just know. I can remember years and years ago, I had been dating this guy for a while, and he decided that he wanted to move into my house with me. And I remember having this conversation with him, and suddenly my stomach just started hurting so badly. And I ran into the bathroom because I thought something was going to happen. And he followed me in there, and it's like it got worse. And I suddenly realized, no, you do not want this guy moving in with you. And as I told him that, I told him it nicely, that I wasn't ready for that kind of up-leveling of the relationship yet, etc. A lot of things started coming out in our conversation that I had not necessarily noticed before, or maybe I had, but I ignored them because I wanted to be in a relationship. But that was for me the time when the gut feeling really was loud, right? But we've had gut feelings all the time about stuff. And inner nudges, I don't know why I keep on calling it nudges, must be inner and nudges together. New word, ladies and gentlemen, nudges, yeah. That's the thing that tells you to turn on this street. Because who knows why, you just turn on this street. And then you end up seeing a friend, and you wouldn't have seen them if you hadn't turned there, or, you know, or you avoided an accident, or whatever. You know, those inner nudges, inner nudges. Okay, universe, yep, knew you were. All right, so this is what I want us to do. I want us to reflect on our own lives this week. And where are we seeking direction? And what would happen if we trusted our inner wisdom more? That's your homework for this week. There's a Polynesian saying, I was going to try to say it for you in Hawaiian, but I decided not to. It says, you must trust your inner compass, even when you can't see the shore. Faith is knowing the island is there, even before it appears on the horizon. Think about that this week. Trust, 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 and have faith. So let's go into prayer. How grateful I am to be in a teaching that constantly reminds me that it's done unto me as I believe. So starting today, I choose to believe in a greater good. I choose to recognize that I'm always being prompted for those things that bring me that greater good. And I speak this word in the first person for all of us, knowing, absolutely knowing, that we're walking a divine path and that we don't need to see or pay attention to what's out there. We can still walk our path, one foot in front of the other, knowing our highest good is at hand, knowing that who's doing the walking is the God presence that's expressing itself as us. So I know we walk into our future totally open to more healing, to more good, to more understanding, to more trusting. We trust that as we speak our word, healing does happen in these bodies, in our planet, in the world of affairs. And so we speak our word declaring that there is a greater good here. And we choose to see that more than anything else. I know that words are powerful. And so we speak our word for each one of us to be more abundant. And we celebrate that abundance, recognizing that God is the giver and we are the receivers. And so we open ourselves up to be greater receivers. And I speak this word for right relationships. I know for each one of us that we now see that every relationship we've had or have or will have is the right one for the moment. And now we declare that the relationships we have are filled with love, are filled with kindness and compassion, are filled with laughter and joy. And we celebrate those with every fiber of our being. And I know that these words also work in the arena of what we do with our hands, with our talents in this life, with our creativity. And so I declare for each one of us that we allow ourselves to open up even more to the creativity of the divine that's flowing through us all the time. And we celebrate this. We celebrate being whole people. Whole, holy. We celebrate our spirituality, knowing that it's not something that we have to keep in the closet, but something that we can just let out, knowing that it's absolutely everywhere and in everything. This great oneness is the source and substance of absolutely everything. And so we give thanks for it, as we know that we use this substance to create a good life, a healthy planet, peace everywhere. And we're so grateful that we can do this. So grateful. And I release these words into divine law, knowing that they are already so. And so it is. And I believe Jackson is our guest musician this morning. Not guest, but.
This song was written by a cowboy poet named Bill Staines. It's called River. I was born in the path of the winter their springtime waters came dancing down, and I remember the tales they told, the whistling ways of my younger days, too quickly have faded on by, but all of their memories linger still, like the light in a fading sky. River, take me along in your sunshine, sing me your song, ever moving and winding and free. You rolling old river, you changing old river, let's you and me, river, run down to the sea. I've been to the city and back again, and I've been moved by some things that I've learned. I've met a lot of good people and called them friends, felt the change when the seasons turned. I've heard all the songs that the children sing, I've listened to love's melodies, I've felt my own music within me rise, like the wind in the autumn trees. River, take me along in your sunshine, sing me your song, ever moving and winding and free. You rolling old river, you changing old river, let's you and me, river, run down to the sea. Someday when the flowers are blooming still, someday when the grass is still green, my rolling waters will round the bend and flow into the open sea. So here's to the rainbow that's followed me here, and here's to the friends that I know, and here's to the song that's within me now. I will sing it wherever I go. River, take me along in your sunshine, sing me your song, ever moving and winding and free. You rolling old river, you changing old river, let's you and me, river, run down to the sea. River, take me along in your sunshine, sing me your song, ever moving and winding and free. You rolling old river, you Let's you and me, river, you changing old river. Let's you and me, river, run down to the sea.
Thank you, Jackson. Not only was that lovely, but that song fits your timbre and your range just perfectly. That was beautiful. Just a quick audible. I don't know how many people realize, because I don't, how many of our members are involved in creating the music for our center. And if it's okay with the music people, if you would just stand for a second so we can recognize this is not even all of the people who are involved in our music, but you can, with Jeff standing and Doug and Jackson, Anna's in the back. Who else do we have? I know Edward is involved in our music. Is there anybody else? Rick, who's not here. But just a round of applause for our music people. It's certainly not just the words that inspire when we are here. So, having said that, it's time for our sharing of our gifts. Please put in the pot as it goes along, whatever you can. Always add love into it. But first we say together, I gratefully give from the fullness of my abundance, knowing my gift blesses this center, all in it and beyond. As we accept these gifts, I know that sometimes, despite the fact that it might feel like it's hard to find it, there is so much to be grateful for. The people in this room, the words, the music, all the positive events that are taking place, this is just one small dot in an infinite universe filled with gratitude. And these gifts that we receive with gratitude go forth to further those moments of thankfulness and gratitude, not only within our center, but the city, the community, the nation, and even the world at large. And for that, there is one more thing to be grateful for. I release these words into the law of mind, knowing they've been happening, and all I needed to do was recognize them. And I say, and so it is. Thank you. Okay, as we get to the end of our service, we need somebody to do our statement of inclusion. And then we're going to do some demonstrations, or we'll probably, unless there's a major demonstration somebody demonstrate. Speaking of which, on March 8th, there will be a demonstration at the courthouse, but I think that's a different type of demonstration. That's at noon at the courthouse. And there's a potluck in the other room, because this is the first Sunday of the month. Please feel free to share in it. But right now we need somebody to read our community statement of inclusion bonus points if you've never done it before. Ah, yay, Heidi.
I don't think I've ever read it.
Well, now you will.
Okay. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Heidi.
We, the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living, are a community that celebrates diversity, fosters inclusion, champions inner work, and creates space for brave, vulnerable conversations. We are a community that honors the unique emanation of God that each person embodies and advocates with people for human rights and dignity for all. We are a community that blesses each other, sees sacredness in all life, remains learners and listeners so that we may grow together, and understands the oneness is not sameness. We know our beloved community is revealed more fully when we love each other well.
Now we can make a circle. We're going back to the peace song. Actually, we never left the peace song, but we're going to demonstrate it more fully. We're going to have to get a bigger room.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that